welcome to Chanel's Reality. I'm Chanel, and wildly, this is my reality. So listen, I gotta figure out this hair. It just wants to do the absolute most. I don't understand it. But anyways, it's myself, gather myself, sorry. Is it this way? Yeah. Okay. Anyways, I wanted to talk to you guys real quickly about. So I was watching this video of this young guy that I watched. I forget the name of his channel, but I put it in the you see how it's still doing the most. Why are you doing the most? Why you gotta be so? Anyway, I think his name is Stevie Knight or something like that. But it's in the. I put it in the description. So you can go there, click on the link, and go support his channel. So Stevie Knight was watching, he was basically reviewing one of Diddy's videos. Not Diddy's videos. Let me start over. He was reviewing a video made by another content creator who interviewed one of the alleged victims of Diddy and all of his co-conspirators. This young lady, she refers to a lot of things in the video. She refers to herself as being referred to as something called a party favor. Where the way she explained it, I've watched some of her videos as well, but the way she explained it was, it's like you have these guests that arrive either at the Diddy parties or wherever it is that they arrive. Because she alleges a lot. But she talks about the horrific abuse, savage rape, sexual assault. Didn't matter if it's your back door, your baby door, your mouth door, like just real savage, evil, beyond comprehension type stuff. So he's reviewing it. And the reason that I'm going to play what he reviewed is because for some reason, I don't know why this is, but especially women, this is my experience. For some reason, it seems that if a woman is saying that she has been sexually assaulted or raped or, any of those things, for some reason, other women don't want to believe it. She must be lying. We need to have all these verifications. It just is what it is. That's been my experience. And I've been a social worker, working in social work for 20 plus years. They could tell their mama don't believe them, the aunt don't believe them, school people. It's just something about, I don't know. I will say I do know what it is, in my opinion. My opinion is that the reason that happens, the reason victims aren't believed is because we live in a culture where women, and I'm just going to start with women victims, have always been second-class citizens. Let's just start there. So if you've always been second-class citizen, why would I value anything you say? We've been taught not to be valued in that way. It's not just me saying this. Just go look at the history books, and it doesn't matter if you're in this country or any country. Look at how women have been treated since the beginning of time. As, a burden or some sort of commodity. Just is what it is. And then to demean her, think about the things that people say that are like flipping or as punchlines like, the oldest profession is a prostitute or prostitution. Who do you think made that up? When if you really want to be 100 about it, if you just really want to keep it a buck, women weren't allowed to work. So how could we, the people who've been second-class citizens since the beginning of time, hold the Guinness World Record for the oldest profession when women weren't even allowed to work. How could we have that as the oldest profession? It's not logical. Stop me when I'm lying about something. But, and also so that you can say that that's your only value. Your baby box, that's your only value. That's what you bring to the world. That's it. That's all. That's why, in my opinion, a lot of times women aren't believed. Women don't believe women for whatever stupid reason. But like I said, my reason is we start there, but also we're just toxically conditioned to believe that a woman is so stupid and or helpless, uneducated, whatever, fill in the blank, that we can't possibly be able to make our own money, be able to be educated and intelligent. Like, I don't know where this nonsense comes from. And then we're too emotional. Meanwhile, go look at the fields of study where you get the lowest pay, but you have the highest stress, and you're still forced, expected to remain calm. Keep all your faculties about you. I'll name two. Social workers. We always coming in where there's a crisis. It just is what it is. It's just a fact, right? Teachers. Those are the two I'll name. We're so unstable emotionally. Somehow we dominate that industry. People, we dominate it not because we're smarter than men or anything like that, but it's because we're the ones that are deemed to be safe to leave your children with. I'm just saying. Someone will probably say, oh no, it's because men don't want to be teachers. Okay. You don't want to be taught by your kind? Knock it all the way the fuck off. Of course you do. Of course, a boy should be taught by a boy, a girl should be taught by a boy. Not everything. But of course, there are things about being a boy that only a man would understand. Same thing with women, right? Things about being a woman that only a girl would understand. So it only is fitting that you would have both and not a very big disparity between the two, right? Right. But we entrust we entrust teachers with who are mostly women with our children's education around the world. Be clear. So how do you entrust the people who teach everyone with education and making sure that your child, gets a good education, learns societal norms and how to behave and how to treat others fairly and kindly? Where do you think they're getting that from? You're going to entrust all of that to a woman, but we're not stable? We're unstable? We're emotionally unstable? This is why I be saying, stop with the nonsense. You're gonna talk to me, please use both sides of your brain. That's all I'm saying over here on Chanel's Reality. But before I get off on a tangent, because I can find myself off on a tangent on that topic alone, I'm gonna get right into. Let me share my screen. What Mr. Knight has to say. Everything on Chanel's Reality is in my opinion for entertainment purposes only. I have to say all of this so that we don't get sued here on Chanel's Reality. And this video is probably going to be triggering because the content is graphic. The content is graphic. So I'm not saying what I'm showing you is going to be graphic, but the nature of the conversation is going to be graphic. So here we go.
The whole industry needs to burn, bro. Like, peeps need to really boycott the industry at this point, man. Your silence is deafening, bro. But I just heard the most disturbing story yet, man. And it's like, at this point, it ain't nothing that I'm going to hear that's going to surprise me at this point. But where I'm at with it, it's like, how inclined am I to believe it? How credible is the source? But you got all these people out here corroborating the same story. But shout out to the Lionel B show for actually interviewing the victim, dog. I feel conflicted even shouting Lionel B out, bro. Like, I respect it. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's a business at the end of the day, man. But which, like this, dog, you know what I'm saying? Money aside, monetization aside, like, we are trying to expose some evil shit, bro. So when you put the clamps on and don't let people react to this, you shutting the story down. Like, you want all the views to go to your channel. I get it, man, but you minimizing the exposure that this video was gonna get, bro. And this is like the groundbreaking video, dog. Like, this is it, man. But my hands are tied because I can't share it with y'all. But you know what I'm saying?
Stevie Knight is pissed. And he should be, but I get what he's going at. Don't just buckle your seatbelts. That's all I'm gonna say. Buckle your seatbelts.
Go ahead and check it out for yourself, bro. So you know, so what I'm saying is resonating. What I'm saying is hitting, dog, because the whole industry needs to fucking burn. All of them, bro. The silence is deafening, dog. Anybody that know anything about it ain't said nothing. I've said it countless times at this point. You just as complicit as a more fucking demon ass Diddy'fied Diddy, right? But long story short, bro, Lionel B brought up the victim from Diddy, bro. You may remember it from one of the lawsuits, man, where somebody provided a third party story about 13, 14-year-old girl that was flown from one state to another state to Diddy studio. You know what I'm saying? She was forced to do all types of things that bro, I gotta say it because it's not gonna resonate if I don't say it, bro. She was I don't know her age specifically, bro. She's a preteen. Or she's definitely a minor, right? 12, 13, 14, whatever, man. There's this infamous picture of a girl sitting in Diddy's lap. They got her face blurred out. But in this same night, you know what I'm saying, she was raped, assaulted, forced to do fellatio. And the story that was in this lawsuit was like, it was unbelievable. It was so crazy, bro. To put a minor on a jet, to fly her out there and have to go through everything that was said in that lawsuit, bro. Like, she was forced to perform fellatio before she got on the plane. She was drugged on the plane. She was drugged in the studio. Multiple men assaulted her, penetrated all the holes, bro. She was left beaten, battered, and bruised in a damn bathroom where she was forced to do fellatio again, dog, as a minor. Crazy story, bro. But then the same woman was identified in other stories from other people who had the information where she was used as a party favor.
I was a party favor. What does that mean? It was a party favor. I was somebody you could take off the table. So you're telling me they set children? I set children on a table. Like when you go to a birthday party and they have gift bags for everybody that comes that have candy and toys in them, yep. And they set them on the table. So you're telling me at the freak off parties, mm-hmm. They put children on the table instead of gift bags, mm-hmm. And then people can do what? Take you off the table and have sex with you, even though it's against the rules to do certain things like anal sex or full house sex. Sometimes that's against the rules. Like for me, that was against the rules, but that didn't matter.
This is a quick look at Canopy by Armstrong Ceilings, your online everything ceilings and walls store.
And other witnesses have corroborated the same thing where, you know, the industry had these satanic rituals, freak offs, where they have children on tables, offer this party favors where people can pick the minors up, do whatever they want to do with them, and they put them back and they're just recycled throughout the night. She was a party favor. Pictures of her on the table at these parties, butt naked with food all over her body when she's a minor, like 13 years old, right? And there's actual photos of her face blurred out, of course, with celebrities all around her partying it up while she got food on her. Well, Lionel B has done an interview with this woman, bro. When I tell you, bro, how graphic this video is, bro, like the emotion, the terror when she's reliving the experiences as she's telling her story, bro. I can't even listen to music or rappers no more with the same effect because I question everything, dog. I mean, because all of them can know. And if you ain't came out here on the mountaintop saying this motherfucker's a demon. This motherfucker's guilty, bro. You just as guilty as they as, bro. So everything is in question, dog. And you've been implicated at all, bro. I can't listen to you the same, right? It's deafening, dog. And in the video, she says herself that I can't listen to music anymore because all of them are fucking evil, because all of them was part of it. She said, I've seen all of them. They all touched me in some capacity, right? She goes on to say that Bill Cosby either grabbed there was a table with a lighter, a knife, a candle, all these types of different things. And they were all put into her.
There was a knife, it was a corkscrew, it was a glass bottle, it was a candle, and it was a cigar on a tray. And I remember all of them had to stick it in me. And I will never forget how Bill Cosby lit the cigar and put it out on my vagina.
I'm talking about the video was so graphic, bro. Y'all gotta go watch it yourself, dog. I'm giving y'all the cliff notes. I may be ruining it for y'all, but nah, do yourself a favor and just listen to her talk. Listen to her talk, bro. She said she was taken to the emergency room. They performed emergency surgery on her, cut her open, removed. First of all, she said she was out. She didn't even remember the surgery. But then when she came to, I don't know if it was an officer or some law enforcement person or someone gave her the video of the operation where they saw her. She believed that what they pulled out of her was her intestines because it was long and black.
I remember I was in pain, so my whole body hurt. So I didn't know the difference. They did operations to remove something out of me. I felt the same way I felt before they did the operation. I remember them showing me the video, and I'm like, that's not me. And it looked like they pulling the fucking intestines out of me. And it was that pink dildo all on it. And he was like, I was like, that's not, I was like, ew, what is that? I was horrified. And he was like, this is you. Who did this to you? And I went on and told him the truth. You know, Diddy did this.
Right. But what they pulled out of her was a dildo that was forced up her anus so far that it was inside of her stomach. When it pulled out, it was big and black. She said she was locked in cages with kids.
It's like it goes in and out. I remember trying to escape. I remember the brown children. I remember being locked in a cage with these brown kids. I don't know what race they were, but I know they looked at black, but they didn't speak English.
How many kids would you say was in there with you?
Had to be like 30 or 50 kids, but it kept getting smaller and smaller and smaller because they were hunting these babies. It got like it was like until I noticed it, I was just in the cage. But before they like took me out the cage and put me back in the cage, they had me these babies with them.
With babies, 30 to 40 to 50 babies, bro. Oh, she's 33 now. This all happened when she was 13, 14, 15 years old, bro. She was forced to stay in cages with little kids where the kids were forced to do the same thing she was forced to do. She goes through the whole ordeal from her believing she's about to get put on in the industry.
I have to call you back, okay?
But then she describes how she was trafficked.
I'm doing a live on YouTube.
How she was put on a plane, drugged up, flown to a studio in Jersey, where everything that was stated in that lawsuit, she explained in graphic detail, bro. Much more detail than that lawsuit provided, dog. She describes how she felt, what she saw, how things tasted, what she smelled. She described people's faces. She said names.
So, listen, on Chanel's Reality, let me just say this. First of all, welcome. Thank you for joining me on Chanel's Reality. I'm Chanel, and this is my reality. We believe victims over here. I know our Constitution somewhere in there, it says, you know, we have the right to remain. No, that's the Miranda rights. I got it confused. That everybody basically has the right to, what's the right word? We're innocent until proven guilty in this country. That's the law in this country, right? And by this country, I mean the United States of America. And that's great. I think that's great. I definitely think that that's something to live by lawfully. However, personally, I don't believe that about sex offenders. I just don't. Because it's just such a rampant, just like, you know how people say this was a, what is it called? The Diddy story was a open secret. That's the same thing with sexual assault in this country and things like domestic violence. They want to say domestic violence, and I hate that because it's someone is just being assaulted. Let's just call a thing a thing. You want to say it's domestic so that we can feel better about it and say that those people's problems. But someone is being physically assaulted. It's just a fact. It just is what it is. Right? So I don't believe the same thing should be looked at the same with regard to sexual assault. I just don't. I'm a social worker and a therapist, right? But I've been a social worker most of my adult career. And I just listen, even if you take me out of it, I'm anecdotal. I'm just one person, right? Just look at the stats. Sexual assault is the open secret in this country. Just like this Diddy party or Diddy whatever scandal that's going on right now. It's the open secret in Hollywood. It's so open and so much. It was so open that nobody in the real world, outside of the I guess people in the entertainment industry, really knew. That's how open it was. I didn't know, and nobody outside of the like I said, entertainment industry knew. That's how open it was. And it was such a secret that everybody in the entertainment industry apparently knew. And it's such a secret now to the point where even though that man Diddy and his whomever have been drug out into the sunlight, okay? And the people that knew about it, the people in the entertainment industry, have nothing to say. It's such a secret. It's a secret they knew about, but they don't have nothing to say because it's such a secret. So it bothers my soul when people act like, oh no, well, we gotta wait and give them the benefit of the doubt. I don't have to fucking give you the benefit of the doubt. That's what the Constitution says about crime and law. That's not what I say about sexual offenders. Just I don't. Why don't I? Because the statistics are overwhelmingly that they never stay in jail. If they go to jail, it's rare that they get some long-term punishment. And people view it as, it's just one of those things. No different than the people who have someone in their family that is sexually assaulting their daughter, their niece, their cousin, somebody like that, right? And people in the family know about it. They ain't gonna do nothing. They're not gonna put him out. They're not gonna put the perpetrator out. The family. They're not. I'm not saying there aren't people in the family that won't say, and speak up. But generally speaking, and I'm not talking about about my family. I'm not talking about brown people. I'm talking about people, period. It doesn't matter if you're in the United States of America, you're in the Philippines, you're in Australia, wherever you go, where people are being sexually assaulted in their family, period. It's just a fact. And guess what? People will not put those people out of their family. They still inviting them to the cookout. How? How is the daddy or the brother or the cousin or the uncle or whoever it is, the granddaddy, still allowed to come to the cookout? How are they invited to Thanksgiving and Christmas? You want to be in the same room with your rapist? How fucking uncomfortable is that? Maybe it's just me. It isn't just me. And I know that for a fact. Some things we could say, oh, well, no, I know that for a fact. I've met too many. So people need to stop pretending as if they don't see what they saw. People need to stop pretending as if this is not a conversation that we need to have with our kids. People need to stop pretending like this is not a conversation we need to have in our family. It's going to break up our family. Break up the fucking family then. You shouldn't be making it easy and comfortable for the fucking perpetrator. What is wrong with people? Am I reaching for the stars here? Help me understand. Help me understand what part of your brain is saying, let's make it easy for the perpetrator to keep perpetrating. I'll wait. I just want people to just listen. Let's just use both sides of our brains. Shout out to Mims, make it make sense. Go check out his channel. I love him. But yeah, let's just use both sides of our brains. That's what we should do. Why are we inviting the perpetrators to Christmas, to Thanksgiving dinner? Why are we doing it? And then the victim has to sit there and pretend. All while they're having some sort of probably emotional breakdown internally. Anyway, I just want people to stop lying. I would like to drag not only all of the people in Hollywood or the entertainment industry, and I'm not talking about just Hollywood, because this isn't a Hollywood thing. This isn't a black man thing. This isn't a black people thing or hip hop industry thing. This is a people thing. Every continent. Go do your research. Maybe on Antarctica, but if there's a person there, if there's more than one person, just saying. I don't want everybody to think that everybody's a perpetrator. But I'm going to just say this. There's way more people walking around as perpetrators that don't have a criminal record than you know. I can promise you. Sometimes the victims and the perpetrators look exactly alike. You know how when you see that picture that pops up on the news and you look at the young man who, you know, is being charged or they're looking for him, he's a person of interest, or he's been, you know, they think he's guilty of something, whatever it is, some heinous crime. And you look at him, you're like, oh my God, he's so handsome. And he only looks like he's 19. And you're like, oh my God, they looking for him because capital murder. You can look cute. You can have a good job. You can be intelligent. You can not be a criminal and still be a fucking perpetrator. Period. Full stop. You could be a family man. You could be a school teacher, a preacher, pastor, priest, mom, dad, whomever. You could be any of those things. Soccer coach, basketball coach, whatever. And yes, you could be talented. You could be Beyonce or Jay-Z or any of them. You could be any of these people, any of them, and still be a sex offender. I am not saying in any way that Jay-Z or Beyonce are sex offenders. I am not. All I'm saying is they're very, very close to one who seems to be, according to the Southern District of New York and Cassie and all the others, and this unfortunate young lady in this video that he's talking about. They're very, very close to one. Beyonce and Jay-Z and a whole bunch of other people. Let me not just say them, because it ain't just them. And just because you're kin to or know someone who you don't necessarily know is a sex offender doesn't mean anything's wrong with you or whatever. Because plenty of people are hiding in plain sight. Just is what it is. But the problem that I have with like the Beyoncés and the Jay-Z's and all the famous people of the world is how they don't have nothing to say. It's one thing to be like, yo, I did not know P. Diddy was doing X. Okay. Maybe once they saw the video when he was beating the brakes off Cassie in that hotel hallway. Maybe they went over to Diddy's house and was like, yo, fuck, what's wrong with you, bro? We can't be associated with you. No, nope. We done. And maybe Diddy was like, you know what? I was high on the pink stuff that the FBI or the CIA or whoever the people were that took him to jail in that video that we saw. Maybe he said that's what he was high on and he wasn't, in his right mind. And maybe, his friends like Jay-Z and Beyonce or others were like, okay, well, we'll give you a second chance. And then all the other stuff comes out. Now he's in jail. You still think he's lying? You still think he's believable at this point? Be clear. We can't trust just lily go and trust. I'm going to say it like this. Our country, the United States of America, and other countries don't necessarily have the best track record with regard to law enforcement and brown people. It's just a fact. We have the videos. Go watch Eyes on the Prize, okay? There's all kinds of videos of people being tortured, by the police and brutalized. So it's not a bad thing to say I have a healthy fear of the law. I don't. It's a problem, and the lines are completely corrupted and blurred. When you call for law enforcement and you're not really sure if they're gonna help you or hurt you, that's problematic. So I'll give them that. I'll give them, you know what? Maybe we don't trust them because of this, that, and the third. Okay, fine, whatever. So that's fine. But if someone provides you with irrefutable proof, you still rocking with that dude? You still don't have nothing to say? That is what I can't understand to save my life. I can't understand it. I cannot understand it. So either you're afraid. So there's two things. There's two things why people do things or refuse to do things, right? One is they are not willing, right? I'm just not willing to do it, or I'm unable to do it. So the people who are sitting around in the entertainment industry who are refusing to say one word, crickets, you're either unable to say it, which could be, maybe you fear for something in your life, and I'm not going to say it's about money and something so frivolous that you could regain, but maybe you fear for a little something. Okay. So you're either unwilling or unable to say something. And I'm going to just say this. I don't feel like we're going to rock with they just unable, because these mofos continue to go on their platforms and talk about whatever they want to talk about and promote their lipstick and their body jewelry and skims and all the rest of it. They go on TV and they have all kinds of things to say to promote their book and their this and their that. But when it comes to some shit that matters, you don't have nothing to say. How do you explain this shit to your kids? Your silence of it all. Even let's go. We'll take it back to the Kardashians. Even when OJ was on trial, and OJ was Uncle OJ to the Kardashians at the time before we knew who they were. Even Kris Jenner said something out loud about it. That was her best friend. That was, unfortunately unalived. She has something to say about it. And even if you're 10 degrees of separation from Diddy or whatever, I still don't understand. Even if you have no degree of relation to Diddy, how are you silent? Even if you believe he innocent, how are you silent? How? You believe in this man in this man's innocent. How are you still sitting on nothing? You protecting your own image? Those are the type of people they can't be trusted. They're very slithery. If circumstance determines your integrity, you're a bad human being, period. And integrity means you're going to do the right thing regardless of someone watching you. I'm not talking about I'm in a situation where, I'm trying to feed my kids or I'm trying to pay my bills and I took some money this one time or I, stole some food from the grocery store. I'm not talking about that. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about intentionally and willfully and woefully making a decision to be completely silent in a situation where your voice is definitely needed. You sitting there saying absolutely nothing. Be a man of your word. Stand on some sort of principle. Have some integrity. Nobody's perfect, right? So we don't all do the right thing all the time, even when someone's not watching, right? But I don't understand how everybody in the entertainment industry across the world, it's not just here. Y'all don't have nothing to say? Nobody? How? How is it that the people on YouTube have a louder voice than the people in power? than the people who ride around on their private jets, than the people who are constantly trying to sell us their lip gloss or their perfume or someone else's perfume that they got a deal with, or their new clothing line, they wig line, they whatever, they jersey that they, you know, play for this game, this professional football or basketball or whatever it is. Y'all have all of this smoke and all of this attention that y'all want the world to pay attention and buy into and support so you can make $1. And now you have an opportunity to say, I'm going to do something greater than me and speak out and just say, this shit is wrong. You sit there in silence. This is the thing. The world is not going to forget. And when I sit in silence, I'm talking about everybody. I don't care what color you are, race you are, what nationality you are. I don't care about none of that. Religion, none of that. I don't know a religion that says these are the type of practices you should have. Raping, killing, molesting, treating people poorly, kidnapping people, unaliving people. I don't know a religion that condones any of that or supports any of that. But I'm just me. I'm one person. I'm just Chanel over here on Chanel's Reality. Again, everything on my show over here is alleged and in my opinion and for entertainment purposes only. But we believe victims over here on Chanel's Reality because we use our brain over here. We do. That's not to say that everybody has to believe everybody, right? And yes, there are times where people lie. But that's just way, 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 way less than those who are telling the truth. It's just a fact. Go look at the statistics. It's not like I'm making this up. If you don't believe me, go read a paper on sex trafficking in the world. Go look at it. See what you think. Go talk. You know what? If you want to, I'll do you one better. Go talk to someone. Go work at a women's home or a battered women's home. See if you still don't believe.
Bruh, she said at one point she was tossed around to so many white men that all the white men just started looking the same.
I remember them drugging me so much and they wanted me to feel the pain and they had my hand over the stove. I remember waking up screaming. This was a fat white guy. He kind of hunchback, got a pointy nose. This fat white guy, he was just passing me to different white men. And to a point, they all started looking the same to me. I'm trying to
like she cries horrifically in the video, bro. You know what I mean? Which I would love to share with y'all, but like I say, y'all go ahead and give Lionel B what he want, bro. You know what I'm saying? But at this point, dog, we try to expose. We need to expose this, bro. The more voices, the better. The more reach, the better, dog. Because you got too many people out here question the validity of everything, bro. We need to be on some Neo shit, cracking through this fucking matrix, dog. Ain't none of these motherfuckers what you believe them to be. They all Diddy'fied, bro. They all not Diddy'fied. Diddy'fied is an understatement, bro. Diddy'fied is a tame way of describing what is taking place, bro. This is some demonic, bro, right? This is some demonic, bro. This is like some Night Stalker shit, bro. From what the hell they talking, bro? Like they're trying to inflict pain on children, bro. Prey on children, bro. They taking souls, destroying people. She said she had to get her genitalia surgically reconstructed that they fucked it up so much.
I remember them having to sew me up and reconstruct my stuff down there. I didn't go straight home. He said, I can't send her home like this.
Yeah, her virginity was taken at the studio from Diddy. She knew that specifically. She said from Diddy. Diddy took her virginity and then put it in the other hole, bruh. Fucked her up, and then other men proceeded to do the same thing. All men of which she said were very well endowed. She said she had so much phallus in her mouth that her mouth was sore. She had her teeth clamped on and stuff because her mouth was so full of flesh.
I look in the mirror and I see P. Diddy behind me. And I know when I was in the room, he took my virginity on that bed. And I remember screaming and hurting, but I had to take it. But Then after that, I remember I just woke up again. I'm in the bathroom, bent over the sink, and I'm yelling, but I guess I'm not making noise. I don't know, but I'm yelling. It hurt. Please stop. I'm weak. I can't move. And he's giving me or whatever. He turned me around, kissed me in my mouth, and like, I'm not gonna hurt you, but he was hurting me. And he turned me back over, and when he stuck it in my, he told me pinch his nipples and all type of crazy. He kissed me in my mouth, and he turned me back over, and I passed out again when he stuck it in my ass, and the pain stopped. And then I was relieved, and then I felt the pain again. And when I woke up, it was Pierre Harvey behind me, and he stuck it in my face. And I remember looking and yelling, "No, stop, no, stop!" But then I remember looking to my left, and P Diddy's in the doorway with like one of them old school cameras, and he's sitting there just off and sitting in a chair in the doorway of the restroom. I remember passing out, waking back up, being over the sink, and this sticking a champagne bottle in. I was like yelling at that point. I know I was yelling at the top of my lungs, and they just had me so hurt. And they left me in their restroom, and I don't know how long I was in that restroom, but my legs and stuff wouldn't work. And some white guy came and got me out the restroom.
It's horrifying, dog. Like this is the worst video. This is the worst video ever, and it pisses me off because the feds are only trying to put Diddy away for sexual human trafficking over state lines, bro. They're trying to take the most innocent approach to get this fool out the way when this motherfucker is literally on some Lucifer shit, bro. With all the stories that is following this man and everybody else who's complicit, bro. Like J-Lo, you are cooked. J-Lo is the one who put a champagne bottle inside of her. She said it in the video. J-Lo was cooked, but J-Lo put a bottle inside of this little girl. This is the shit we need to show. This is the shit we need to expose, man. It hit home with me, bro, because I got a whole music channel where I give all these polarizing artists, all the attention. But J-Lo put a bottle. This motherfucker is literally on some Lucifer because the feds are only trying to put Diddy away for sexual human trafficking.
So that's the part that I disagree with him on. I feel as though I get what he's saying, but the reason that I disagree is because the way intelligence works, especially like federal, that type of stuff. If you want to win, the way the federal government looks at it is like, we have to get him on something that we know we can get him on and we can put him in jail for because we have the proof to do it. It's not necessarily about let's get him on the absolute worst possible thing that we can get him on. Because here's the thing, people get off all the time with regard to sexual crimes. And that's why I think he's so angry about it. But when the reason I think the federal government that's making this case against him is saying one of the charges is sexual trafficking is because of the fact that the victims are alleging that they were trafficked across state lines, which come with a certain automatic penalty if they can prove it. And they have the RICO charge, which if he gets proven guilty for that, he's definitely going to jail for the rest of his life. It just is what it is. It is what it is. So I think that's the part that I get what he's saying, because these is like, there's way worse crimes than someone just quote unquote being sexually trafficked, so to speak. That's what he's mad about. He feels like that's bad, right? It's really, really bad. But he's basically saying, what is this young lady's explaining happened to her? This beyond savage, gruesome, like he said, demonic situation that happened to this young lady, her experience. He's basically saying, in comparison to that. But you can't really compare trauma. So I'm gonna stop there. But I will say this: I understand why he's making that argument. He feels like if we only charge him with this, or if we charge him with some other things, and this is what sticks, he only gonna be in jail for maybe 10, 15 years. And he deserves way worse because he's done way worse. He deserves way longer because he was out doing the savage behavior way longer. I get what he's saying, but I just do think there needs to be context there. I think you have to kind of consider the fact that they're playing the long game. They're not playing we got this man doing, he beat up this lady in the hallway. Because why is that? Because plenty of men beat up women in hallways. They beat up women in their homes. They beat up women in the Applebee's. They beat up women outside their homes. They beat up women in these are just the facts. And I think that's why he's saying that. He's just like, this happens so much that people are going to go on with their lives and they're not going to care. I agree with him. But the feds, I think, are very smart and they're effective. And this method is going to work unless there's a conspiracy going on. And I'm one to say I don't believe in the conspiracies all the time. I don't think everything is a conspiracy. But when you have a network of people going around covering up and making sure people like Diddy stay out of jail, and the other people that were keeping the gatekeepers, and all the other people, I'll say this: if there's 3 or more people covering up something, there's a conspiracy. Someone is conspiring. A group of people are conspiring to do something. And this man, if all of this stuff that people are saying about him is true, he's certainly been in a conspiracy with lots of people for many years. And the thing that makes me believe more than anything that there is a conspiracy going on is because Hollywood is silent. If there were people in Hollywood coming out in droves, political people coming out in droves, people of influence, you don't even have to be people of wealth and influence, people who have a platform, which we all do. Everybody walking around with a phone. We all got a platform somewhere, whether it's on TikTok and Instagram, Facebook, whatever it is, right? Say something. How everybody's silent that could do something, that could say something, that could influence someone. Everybody's silent. It's problematic. And so that's why I believe there has to be a conspiracy somewhere. Because I ain't never in life, in my whole entire life, and I'm almost 50 years old, seen the entirety of the entertainment industry in the entire world sit silently, all of them, meaning the music industry, the sports industry, the acting industry, or film, TV, whatever you want to call it, all of them. Everybody. They don't have nothing to say. Nobody's saying, I ain't see Diddy do that. I've been to a party and I ain't. Nobody. Well, there's a few. I would say 50 Cent, but he's been trolling him for years. I was surprised when I saw Dame Dash say, yo, after the Jaguar Wright situation that happened on Piers Morgan, I saw Dame Dash. I did a video on it, and he was like, I'm going to be shocked if no legal, and I'm paraphrasing what Dame Dash said, but he was like, I'm going to be shocked if there is no legal paperwork being processed. And literally, I feel like maybe a day or two later, that's when Piers Morgan, he didn't file a lawsuit, but he basically apologized to Jay-Z and Beyonce. I don't think Piers should have had to apologize, but I do think he should have to say, no matter what, these people are saying that this didn't happen. I think that's fair. I do. I think that's fair to say, because you on a big platform, you can't just, you can't just yell out something so egregious without proof. I mean, you can, but the responsible thing for the person who's hosting is to say, that person isn't here, this, that, and the third. Think about it. You invite people to your house, to your home. You're having a dinner party, and then someone at the dinner party is just bullying someone else. It's your job as the host to say, yo, you can't do that, to put them in check. And not only that, excuse me, say, to your guests, like, my apologies. I wasn't expecting that, this, that, and the third. I'm not saying that Piers Morgan, that Jaguar Wright is lying. I'm not saying I don't believe her, because I do. I don't know if I believe everything she says, but I definitely believe some of what she says. I'm not saying that he's wrong or that she's wrong. People have the right to listen. They have a right to say what they say is true. What they feel like they say they saw or they heard, whatever. People have the right to say it. But I'm saying neutrally, as a neutral party, it's the responsible thing to say, you know, she's not here, he's not here. But what I think would have been better is for Piers Morgan to say, hey, yo, listen, Jay-Z and Beyonce want me to take this down for these reasons. And I would like to say, I want to invite them on this show so that they can explain themselves out loud. They want me to say some shit out loud? Come on my show and say some shit out loud. You notice they didn't do that. And let's be clear, they don't gotta go on Piers Morgan to say nothing. They Beyonce and Jay-Z. They said it's $1 billion on the elevator, right? So if it's $1 billion on the elevator, I don't know why y'all can't make your own platform and say whatever it is that y'all want to say. Why y'all don't need Piers Morgan to say anything. Everybody on planet Earth knows who Beyonce is. Everybody. Make a video. Make your own documentary. Surviving Diddy. Whatever. But to sit around and say nothing is it's beyond me. Especially if you disagree with it. So Luca Vega says, check out, I don't know what this is. Nutris TV or Nutris TV about this lady. Do you believe her, Luca, or you disagree with her? Anywho, let's keep going.
Over state lines, bro. They're trying to take the most innocent approach to get this fool out the way when this motherfucker is literally on some Lucifer shit, bro. With all the stories that was following this man and everybody else who's complicit, bro. Like J-Lo, you are cooked. J-Lo is the one who put a champagne bottle inside of her. She said it in the video. J-Lo was cooked, but J-Lo put a bottle inside of this little girl. This is the shit we need to show. This is the shit we need to expose, man. It hit home with me, bro, because I got a whole music channel where I give all these polarizing artists, you know, all the
Hey guys, sorry, something happened. I'm not sure exactly what. I think something with my internet. Let me go back. Hold, please. Luca says, well, I believed her at first. Okay. And then she says, I give people the benefit of the doubt. A lot of her story came from the movie Blink Twice. Why do you think that? I would love to know why you think that. Oh, Nitrous TV. I figured it was something you didn't believe. What did they catch her lying in or about? You're not sure what they call her lying about? Well, I'll say this. You know, a lot of times people can say, I think I used this example a few weeks ago, or maybe a week or two ago, where I was saying that, you know, people will say, oh, someone's lying because they said this happened, and then someone says, oh, okay, and then someone says, well, she said she had on a pink shirt that day, or she said that, you know, she had on a sweater, or she had on a pink wig, whatever it is. It was at this house or that house. So let me give you a small little, just smallest little story as I can give you. I told people on my channel that I had been sick and had some medicines over the years, and I got insomnia, right? So I asked my doctor for something called Ambien. They prescribed me Ambien, and one morning I had taken this Ambien and I had been sleepwalking. I didn't know that I was sleepwalking. But in this particular incident, my husband filmed me and he had me on camera doing things like, at some point I had put like a spoon in a toaster. Apparently I bathed my dog in the sink, which I do. I bathe him in the sink or in the shower. I turned on the stove to like cook something, whatever. I was doing all kinds of things that when he was asking me about it, he was like, do you remember bathing Bentley? That's our dog, Bentley. I'm like, yeah, I remember bathing Bentley. But this is the thing. It wasn't that I didn't bathe Bentley. From when do I remember bathing Bentley was the problem, right? So in my mind, I knew that I had bathed Bentley, my dog, 2 days prior to this incident that I'm telling you guys about. I knew this. I had already bathed him, right? Because I try to bathe him every 2 days. He has skin issues. But what I didn't know or remember was that what my husband was referring to is during my sleepwalking episode on Ambien, I had bathed my dog, but I poured almost all of the shampoo or whatever it was I was using, dish detergent or something like that, on the dog while I'm bathing him. I don't have no recollection of that. Now, someone could come along and say, well, you said that you bathed Bentley. You remembered bathing Bentley. That's what you told your husband. You remember bathing him. He has you on video saying you remember bathing him. Okay, I remember bathing him. But I don't, you said you remembered. You didn't bathe that dog on that day. You bathed the dog 2 days before. Because in my mind, that's from when I remember bathing the dog. I don't have no memory of bathing him in the time frame when my husband said I was bathing him, when I was pouring all of the soap and I was on the Ambien. I have no memory of that. My memory of bathing my dog was 2 days before. So who's telling the truth? Am I lying? No, I'm not lying. But I don't recall that. I was on some sort of medication that screwed with my mind and time and everything else. So I'm going to have to give her a pass. I haven't seen this video you're talking about, but I'm going to have to say, if I wasn't there, I can't say. Period. That's why, you know, in this video and all the videos I do, I have to say allegedly with Diddy, because I wasn't there. I can't say for certain I wasn't there. I can say I believe, because I do, but I believe victims because I work in the industry with a whole bunch of victims for 20 plus years. So I'm going to believe them. It just is what it is. But if someone has definitive proof that something didn't happen, then, you know, I can roll with that. I don't have a problem with saying, and let's be clear, if after all of this happens, there is some sort of irrefutable proof that Diddy didn't do some of this stuff, I have no problem with saying, you know what, I was wrong about that. None. I have no problem with that. But a lot of times they want to pick apart the story of the victim, but they do not want to pick apart the story of the perpetrator. Why is that? I say, if you're going to pick apart the story, pick apart everybody's story. But I'm certainly going to have way more credibility for the victims coming forward after Cassie when you see the perpetrator go on TV, go online and say, no, I'm tired. I've been sitting waiting for 3 weeks. People, swearing and trying to, they swear I'm a monster and they're trying to, discourage me and, ruin my character and get a money grab and all the things that he said. I didn't do any of those things. I spent my life building a blah, 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 all of the things he said. I never did that. Then We see CNN, and you were literally beating this lady to a pulp. And for what? But you said you didn't do it. Who's lying? You said her lawsuit and everything she said in that lawsuit was a lie. After you get caught, now all of a sudden, you know, what I did was wrong and knock it off. You would have never said that. That would have never been your song. But you caught now. So, but anyway, my point is about the about people discrediting this young lady. My point is, I ain't this young lady. I don't know her. She could be misremembering something. She could be making it all up. She could be telling, it could all be the truth. But because of the field that I work in, I'm going to believe the victim. You're going to have to show me proof that it didn't happen, just like the victim is always having to show proof that it did happen. We need all of this proof. And if we want to keep it a buck, it's very difficult to prove sexual assault because it happens usually over the cover of darkness and night. That's usually when it happens. Usually. But even if you take the cover of dark out of it, it usually is only happening with the perpetrator and the victim. These are the two people. And if one of them is saying someone did something, how does the other one disprove it? The only way to do it is two ways usually. Is to have them on videotape saying, this is what they did to you, or have you on videotape saying something like, I don't consent. I don't consent. I don't consent. Get them recorded saying that they did it. Nowadays, people put all kind of shit in a text message and an email and whatever else. So there's a way to track it a little better now. But old school, it's just like, well, I had sex with her. It was a little rough. She consented. It was consensual. It's hard to prove that. Even if you do a rape kit, it's hard. Okay, you have my semen. I had sex with her. So yes, my semen is in her. So again, how many people were running around America saying Cassie was lying and she's just a money grab and this, that, and the third? Then they saw a video. Now it's like, I don't know. So Luca Vega said there's several things. It's like 20 minutes. Oh, she says, I see your point. And I'm not here to say everybody's wrong. Everybody isn't wrong. There are some people who lie. Let's be clear. Everybody lies about something to somebody. Me included. We all lie about something. People generally lie out of fear, though. Fear of losing their job, fear of, getting beat up by their husband, fear of being rejected, fear of, their mama putting them on punishment, fear of not being picked. Whatever your fear is, it's a fear usually attached to a lie. And all people do it. All of us. It's when you telling lies for no reason where people kind of like, Or for reasons that are just kind of like, why is she lying about that? Why he lying about that? But if you go back and look at our history with women across the whole world have always been not believed. And we've always been the people, the second-class citizens from the jump. We were told we can't have a job. We got to get our husband to sign off on whether or not we can have a credit card or a bank account because we're so helpless, right? And even though we're walking around here with all these college degrees and buying cars and doing all of the things for ourselves now, we still are minimized and minimalized and made to believe that women are so helpless. So we can't do anything for ourselves, but the only thing we can do is use our baby box, our vaginas, to get money from a man when I already have money. What I need? No. Why do I? So you need to pick a lane. Which one are we? Because last time I checked, y'all, send y'all children to school to be taught by women. Stop me when I'm lying about something. You all send your kids to go get, cared for at a daycare by women. Listen, social workers are mostly women. Those social workers are people that you utilize in crisis. But we so emotionally unstable. Well, if we're so emotionally unstable, why are you sending your children to school to be taught by women? We so emotionally unstable. It's not logical. You entrust in women to keep your children out of daycare, but we so unstable. And be clear, when a child goes to school, right? They're teaching everybody else. So men aren't capable of teaching. Oh, men don't want to do it. They don't want to be teachers. Oh, okay, I got it. But don't you think it would make sense for a man to teach a boy, just like it would make sense for a woman to teach a girl? And I'm not saying in every area, but there are some areas where I can't teach you about being a man. I'm a woman, and vice versa. So it would be helpful. But men are so helpful that, in that way that they're like, no, we leave it up to you because we trust you. But we are so helpless and small-minded, and we can't do anything for ourselves, that all we can think to do is, I got to trap a man in a relationship and get a baby. I have to go sue him so I can get a money grab. When in reality, if you really want to talk about it, in reality, people have to sue their perpetrators if there is wealth, because of the thing that I told you earlier, which is sexual assault is very difficult to prove because it is between you and the perpetrator. And unless you have somebody on film doing it, or on some sort of recorder saying that they did it, or an email, text message, or something like that, it's very difficult to prove. Like I said, they can say, yeah, we had sex. It was consensual. It's difficult to prove. So if my attorney then comes to me and says, you know what, Chanel, I looked at the evidence. It's, you know what, it's your word against his. Yeah, you did a rape kit, but he's saying it was consensual. I'm telling you, you can roll the dice with the jury. You can, but it's a high likelihood that they're going to believe that man, and they're going to believe the toxic conditioning that they're taught, which is, you can't believe the victim. We have to ask them 5,000 questions. We have to question them within the inch of their life. We have to shame them to death. We have to, we need all this proof that they know the witness most likely cannot provide. Who made the rules? It wasn't us. We wasn't in the room when they was writing that Constitution. I wasn't. I don't think any women were there, right? They're John Hancock's on it. So who are people going to make rules who are people going to make rules for? They're going to make them in their own best interest. And since there were no women there, can't be in my best interest. And if men are so great and we all got to do it for, money and this, that, and the other, why don't we have a Violence Against Men Act? There's all this violence against men. Not saying that same-sex relationships don't have domestic violence. They 100% do. Or assault is what I call it. They 100% do. I'm not minimizing that. But why we don't have that? If it's such a problem. Just food for thought. But my point is, back to my point. My point is this. A lot of times when people say, oh, it's a money grab, it's a money grab. If your attorney comes to you, so my attorney comes to me, I'm accusing P. Diddy of whatever it is. And he says, you can roll your dice, Chanel. You can roll the dice, Chanel, with, the jury. But this man is known, he has wealth, he has power, and it's unlikely, based on the statistics and based on the evidence that we have a lack of, that this jury is going to convict him of anything. So it's just going to be a long, expensive trial, if it even goes there. Even if it gets there. So then the victim says, okay, well, I'm not going to be able to win that way. And if I roll the dice and try to win that way, what's going to happen to me is exactly what happened to Cassie when she first did her lawsuit. They're going to try to make you seem like you were the worst bitch. You just some person that just wanted to get on. You're a hanger-on. You like the money. You like the glitz. You like this, that, and the third. Because you don't have any talent of your own. You don't have any, intelligence of your own. You don't have a mind. You don't have nothing unless it's with a man, period. And listen, I'm not bashing men. I love men. I have a whole good-ass husband in there minding his business right now that I've been married to for almost 20 years. So listen, don't do that. Like in my comments, leave me alone because I'm good over here. I'm just telling you and speaking from a perspective of a victim, one, and then also of a person that's been in an industry of social work for 20 plus years. I know victims and I know perpetrators, and I'm not saying they're all the same. I'm saying the victims, most of them that I've worked with, have the same story and they don't know each other. So how do all of these people have the same similar story about the granddaddy or the touchy uncle or mama's boyfriend or my daddy or my brother or my cousin or my uncle? How they all have the same damn story? So coincidence? No, of course not. These people don't know each other. They don't even know that I know. And even if you take me out and you say, oh, Nikki, oh, Chanel, oh, Patricia, whoever the people are, right? You're an adult. Just you and you're a little bit of, go read a book is all I'm gonna say. Go read some evidence, because I have 3 college degrees. Be clear about that. One thing I'm not is stupid. I'm very educated. Not saying I know it all, but I wouldn't be talking about something, and I tend not to talk about things that I don't know about. You're probably never gonna get me on here talking about tech. I don't know much about it, so I'm probably not gonna say much in general. Miss Lucas says, I really think Diddy is capable of anything at this point. I agree with you. I wanted to play this little part from Sloan Bella. I don't know if you guys ever watched Kim Porter's. Sloan Bella is a psychic medium, and listen, everything she said about Diddy in those readings that I saw when she did her readings with Kim Porter, it's on point. She ain't lied yet. But I don't know Sloan Bella. I ain't never met this lady before, but I believe her. She said 2 things that I know happened. She said that when she was having a medium, whatever, with Kim Porter, which is Diddy's ex, he has 3 kids. Kim Porter had, I think, 3 or 4 kids. 3 kids with P. Diddy. She's no longer with us. She's passed away from alleged, what was it? Something with her lungs, pneumonia. Anyway, but Sloan Bella is a medium who said that she was channeling Kim Porter, and Kim Porter was like, something is going to happen in November. This is prior to Cassie's lawsuit. November 15th, and I think Sloan Bella even said November 15th or 16th or something like that. On November 15th, I believe it was, Cassie dropped her lawsuit. And then she said somewhere, either in that video or later in the video, that something else is coming up around March. This is not over. It's not over. That's how she was talking. She's like, this is not over. We're going to see more of this. Something's coming up in March and yada, yada, yada. And she said it's going to be around Easter. And that's when the feds went in his house and raided his homes. So she's batting 1,000 at this point. But the reason that I want to bring this up is because she starts talking about what shook Kim Porter to her core and what made Kim Porter allegedly start writing down things and working with the government about things. And she also goes on to say something about Kim Porter having either was writing a book or a transcript or something like that. That's what Sloan Bella said. This is prior to anything happening. This is after Kim's death, but before everybody was exposing Diddy. But I bring that up because the guy in this video that we're watching, he talks a lot about, satanic rituals, and he's saying that, they're using the energy and stealing the energy of children, which I believe. I ain't never been a part of no satanic ritual. I ain't never seen nothing satanic. I don't want to. I'm good over here. Me and God, I'm God's favorite. I'm good over here. But the young lady who is the alleged victim that he's speaking about, that said Diddy did all of this stuff to her and she was a party favor, said, she talked about satanic rituals and how people, were doing evil sexual things to children. That's what she's claiming happened. And so I just think it's befitting that before I knew any of this, Sloan Bella said she was talking to Kim Porter, P. Diddy's ex baby mama. She's dead and gone. Rest her soul in peace. But Sloan Bella was talking about the same exact thing. She said that's what Kim found out. That's what Kim found out. And it was just next level. So let's go ahead and listen to what she has to say. Let me share my screen. Hold on 1 second. Oh, I'm sharing the wrong one. Hold on. Okay, here I go. Here we go.
And we're asking her to gather more, and I'll use the word intel, but more information about a particular instance. Now, the instance, what I was showing is the instance went back to a party, which was not thrown by her husband. I mean, not husband, baby daddy, was not thrown by him. It was a party that she attended. And it was a very formal gathering with very high backseat chairs, kind of like adorned, maybe old school backseat chairs, like just really high. So if I'm sitting in a chair and the back goes to my shoulders, I'm talking where these were like high, almost covered backseat chairs, and a very, very long table, a very dark room with like crimson coloring inside this room. It's a formal dining dinner of some kind, and people are talking all across, and there's different kinds of people. These aren't just music people. These are all kinds of people. These are different people, okay, from all walks of life is what I'm saying. At this dinner, there was some brokering deals done, okay, because I feel like she was invited and observant, but not participant, okay? So she was not participating in this, but she observed what was going on. And I feel like it upset her what she heard. There were people who shouldn't have been at this dinner, as in people you wouldn't expect to mingle with other people. Now, granted, you can go out, you know, to Home Depot and run into people, right? You can go to Trader Joe's and run into people. You can run into people at the DMV, because we all got to go to the DMV, unfortunately. But this was different. And the information that she gathered was upsetting to her. So when they say, and I want you to hear me with this, because I'm going to try to explain this without getting myself in trouble. When they say that her former baby daddy and people did not want her to write a tell-all book about what she witnessed, and they are dumbing it down to the fact that they think that P. Diddy is on some kind of spree for removing people who speak about this because he's gay, that is not the issue. I want you to hear me. That's one thing, and he may have his own shame about that, and it may be culturally not right for him, whatever.
Keep in mind, this video that I'm talking to you about that she's in, this is pre-Cassie dropping her lawsuit. Months before, way before. I think almost her first video she did with Kim Porter, I believe, was maybe a year before. So this is way before any of the public, the regular public, me, you, and everybody on the internet, for the most part. Not the people in the music industry and the entertainment industry and the sports industry and all the industries. Sloan Bell is predicting this way before we know anything about what's happening now. This is way before. So just keep that in mind.
Get in line in society. That is not what this is. That's not what it is. So I'm going to jump into something separate here to explain what this is. All right. So let's look at it this way. You, me, all of us, we come into a family heritage, right? Some of us are born Christian, some are born Catholic, some are born Jewish, some are Scientologists, some are atheists, some are agnostic, some are whatever religion is out there, Muslim, insert name of religion, okay? Insert name of New Age, whatever, however you, spiritual, however you want to word this. So we come into the context of understanding about our position in this world through the family unit that teaches us. And we're kind of at the mercy of that growing up, right? Like we have parents, and if they drag you to midnight mass, you're getting dragged to midnight mass. If they're agnostic, you're not going anywhere. If they're Jewish, you're observing those holidays. If they're Orthodox, that's a whole notch up. So what if, and this is an if, this is not an if, this is a what was happening. If you're born into a history and lineage that follows a religion that believes through the art of sexual breaking down and making the person vulnerable, removing the ego and fragmenting the self. So if you're born into, quote, a religion that does that, okay, which there are religions that do that. Think of like David Koresh. Think of Mormons. Don't yell at me, Mormon people. I'm not talking about your church. You know, you guys are all over saying that, but you understand where they break down. So what is a way to break down a person? A way to break down a person is to take away their internal security. To take away their internal security is to control them, because once they've lost their sense of self, they're easily manipulated into being what you need them to be. Now, take that in terms of children. When we abuse children, okay, in this world, that is what we are doing. They are harboring just an insane amount of insecurity and lack of knowing of strength and self and knowing about source connection, because it's been ripped away from them. So what if, instead of saying he's gay, we say that he partakes in ritualistic sodomy passages of rite in order to control the soul body of the physical body of the person? Yes, I know what I just said sounds weird, but what if we are to look at it that way? Because that is what I'm actually believing is going on. I don't believe.
So I'm gonna just pause it there. I don't know any of this. I didn't grow up that way. I grew up Christian, you know, whatever, believing in the church. And I still believe in it. But when I first watched these videos of her, I was kind of like, I don't know, you know. I don't know about that, Sloan Bella. I don't know, sis. But again, when I watched it the first time, I did not have any point of reference because we didn't have the situation with P. Diddy that we have now. And what I mean by that is, yes, I have a point of reference because I've worked in, you know, like I said, as a social worker for so many years. And I know that there are people in the world that are doing savage things like what Diddy's being accused of, right? I know that part. But I never heard anyone say some sort of like sexual, ritualistic, this, that, and the third, right? So when I'm hearing about this a year, how many months ago, a year ago, whenever I watched it, because I don't know exactly when she filmed it or when it was released on the internet. You can go on her YouTube and find it. But my point is, whenever I watched it, I didn't have a point of reference. I was just kind of like, okay, lady, that sounds weird. I don't know if I believe that, right? Nobody I know has ever said anything like that to me. So I'm like, that's weird. But then when you start reading these lawsuits and you start hearing these people say that they were held captive and these things were going on, all I can tell you is like a Rolodex in my brain. It's like, oh my God, that lady was saying, and I didn't know Sloan Bella from Can of Paint, but I was like, oh my God, that's what that lady was saying on that channel when she was talking about Kim Porter. So to me, now when you listen to the guy that I was playing earlier, and he was, you know, basically playing parts of the video where the young lady was saying she was, you know, a party favor at the white parties and all that kind of stuff, and how people would take her off a table. Sorry, guys, would take her off a table and do all of these things to her. Listen, I'm not that lady. I don't know. I wasn't there. So I don't know. It's all alleged. But I can't deny the fact that this lady was talking about the same exact type of behavior and things that were going on before this young lady was out there saying it publicly in the way that she is now, or at least to the degree to where her voice has been lifted up. That people like me and whomever else are like, oh, okay, this is what she's saying happened. I don't know if it's true or not, because I wasn't there. So I can't say, but all I can say is it correlates with what Sloan Bella said. And Sloan Bella said that Diddy was going down way before Diddy was going, before ever we even knew. She said it in these types of videos, because this is just part 2. Way before Cassie did her thing where she put that lawsuit out. And then the crumbling of his empire started. So now I'm like, other people are corroborating what this lady said was going on, because she's saying that Kim Porter went to a party. Because before this, if you go back and watch, she said Kim Porter was invited to some sort of, I'll say, event. With, you know, she's going to describe it, but that's when that shook her. And then that's when things changed for Kim. That's what she said when, you know, she was channeling Kim. But I'm gonna let her keep talking about it, because I think she talks about it in a much better way than I could ever explain it, because I ain't Sloan Bella and I'm not a medium, and I don't know if none of this is true. I Okay, look, let me go back and let me push play.
Believe that a lot of what we think is, quote, gay behavior. I mean, technically it's what we label gay behavior, the action. You know, if you're with the person of the same sex and you do that, then that is labeled that. Like heterosexual sex is labeled a man and a woman do this, right? So when it's same sex and when it comes to men in power, how did they get into such power? I want you guys to consider this, because they're no different than you. No one has any secret magical talents out there that makes them so much better than you. Seriously, some people may be able to sing better, but it's not him. Okay. Some people may be able to do things like they may be an artist, they may be a better parent, they may be mechanical, they may have attributes and abilities in athletics and stuff like that. But what makes them so freaking fucking special on this planet that they got to amass $900 million? What is that about? So that is about, just look at it this way. They're not more special than you. There's something else going on. That's what she was trying to say. It's not a book about him being gay. He may have had gay sex. Do we expect any of these people haven't? I mean, really, we're talking about people in the entertainment industry. Don't they do everything that, you know, other people don't want to do? I mean, or maybe other people want to do, but.
So I think that's interesting that she's saying that it's not about him being gay way before the general public. I'm not talking about the people in you know, the entertainment industry, the sports industry, all the industries that entertain people, right? Whether it's the film, music, TV, whatever it is, or sports or whatever it is. She's saying way before that when this comes out, when P. Diddy is found out, because this is pre-Kathy, right? People are going to make it about him being gay, and it's not about him being gay. That's what Sloan Bella said. She said that's what people are going to make it about, and it ain't about that. And I don't know if I agree that people are making it about him being gay. Maybe that's coming somewhere around somewhere, but I think people don't give a shit about him being gay. That's what I think. I think people are like, no one cares about that. We care about this savage behavior that he's had. That's what I think. But let's let her finish. Hold on one second, guys.
But can't, because they'll get fired from their job. In Hollywood, you can do it, right? In the entertainment industry, you can do it. But ask yourself why there's such a predominance of, quote, gay behavior. Because it's not gay behavior. That's not what we're talking about. There are gay people, but what we're talking about here is ritualistic sexual deviancy used to harness energy of a human being. We are being harnessed, not me, not you, but the people that he's dealing with. And she became privy to this. She witnessed this. Now, if you follow a religion that believes you need the brightest, strongest, most pure energy, most biggest, brightest diamond, like Liz Taylor running around with big, gaudy ass diamonds, acting like that was something. Okay. So let's look at it this way. If you want energy that's as big as a diamond like that and as authentic, where do you get it from? You get it from children. And what if you are using those ritualistic behaviors at children? What if you're doing that with children? What if you are putting spores into children? Okay, what do I mean by spores? Energetic hooks. What if you are putting energetic hooks through the act of ritualized sex, not sex, like not like, oh my God, I'm hot, I want to fuck that person. Not that kind of sex. Ritualized, thought out, planned specifically to rip the person down and hide behind their energy. That is what we are talking about. We are talking about the ritualizing, sexualized aggression directed at young children, mainly male, in order to harness their energy.
Now I'm gonna just say this sidebar. Have you guys ever heard of something called buck breaking? I don't know if you guys have ever heard of that. Buck breaking is B-U-C-K breaking. It's something that allegedly, and I believe it was going on during slavery, where they have the biggest, the strongest, you know, male, and then they would rape him. in order to break his spirit. Because it's not about being gay. It's about breaking someone's spirit. And that's not necessarily, because that I wouldn't say that's a religion, quote unquote, because that's what Sloan Bell is talking about, a religious thing, entity saying or doing those, using those type of tactics. But I've heard of that, and I believe that's absolutely true. Let's see. Lucas says, I don't do psychics, but I've heard some very intuitive. Yeah. I don't believe everything psychics say or people say, but when people keep winning and keep like hitting on all cylinders, I have to say, just saying. But I have run into people randomly. One time I remember I was walking into a grocery store and I heard someone calling my name. And I'm looking around and I'm like, but they were calling my name. And then this lady, I swear to God, she told me something that was going on in my life and I had no knowledge of it. And it came to pass and I was like, oh my God. That's one thing that happened that I was kind of like, okay. Another thing that happened to me, I remember when I was younger, my mom was going to like some in the South, sometimes they call things revivals. I don't know why they call it that, but maybe they're trying to revive people's spirits. I don't know. But I remember we went to this revival at a church that we didn't normally go to. And the pastor that was like, I guess I don't think they call them prophets, is what they call them in the Baptist church or in like Baptist churches, I think, for the most part. But anyway, so the man, I remember the prophet, he asked my grandmother to come to the front. And so she went to the front, and I remember him telling her that she was having pain in her, I think it was her arms or something like that. And she had been having pain. This was a personal, this man he did not know it was from kind of pain. There's no way he would have personally known that my grandmother was dealing with going back and forth to the doctor about arm pain. And it was some other things that I can't recall right now that he was talking about, but it was like, how did man know that? There ain't no way. And then I remember years after that, me and my mom went to another revival. It was in this lady's home, and my aunt had invited my mom, and so I was like, I want to go, and so I went. And I remember the thing that stood out to me the most is that the prophet man, he was like, he told my mom, he said, I see pill bottles all around you. Now this man don't know us. We ain't never met him ever in our life, ever, never, ever. How would he know that? Now at the time, she did take a lot of pills, but it was like more, she was like one of those people that like herbs and like vitamins and probiotics and all that kind of stuff. And this was in the 90s, like early 90s, right? But I remember him telling her that. He also said, I see children all around you. My mom's a school teacher. She ended up dying of cancer. But my point is, even later, there was all kinds of pill bottles around her. He didn't say you're going to die of this, that, and the third. He didn't say any of that. But there is no way that man could have known that. He told me something personal that I'm not going to share on here that was definitely going on in my life, and no one knew. Only me knew that this was going on. I am the only one. That's why I say there is no way this man, it's not like something I told someone or someone witnessed something. It was a thing that was going on with me personally. There's no way he could have known it. So that being said, I don't believe all quote unquote psychics, but I do know that there are things going on beyond our natural eyes. You have to know that, because where do souls come from? We're all the soul, because once our soul leaves our body, we're just a pound of flesh. So I do believe to some degree, but I also believe there are people that are out there faking and shaking. Anyway, allegedly trouble says, good catch on this one. You got my stuff. Oh, thank you. Love it. And then Luca says, hi, allegedly. I love it. Y'all like, hi, hi, Luca. I love that. That's so cute. Sorry, I added a letter. Oh, y'all having your own little private conversation. Okay. Allegedly trouble says, I'll have to rewatch. My kiddo is ready for bed. Oh, I know that's right. Go to bed, love. I hope you do rewatch, do the replay crew, hit the like button if y'all can, and subscribe if y'all like the content y'all are consuming. But anyway, let me get back, because I know y'all got to go to bed, and so do I. I need sleep for real.
So it's a hard concept to understand. I don't know that I understand it fully, but if I can use your energy. So we all have that friend that can get us into clubs and restaurants because they're dialed up and everybody knows them and they can get us discounts and all of that stuff. So we love to hang around that friend because we're like, I can get all my makeup, I can get my manicures, I can get into the club, I can get that purse, I can get it before other people. Who doesn't like that? We all like that. But what if we're talking about a religion that hides behind the energy of the most innocent on this planet who are lit up energetically because it hasn't been broken by this planet? And what if they are using this ritualized sodomy sex in order to separate the human body from the soul body so that they can attach it on the astral, harness that energy, utilize it here, and act like they're all fucking special here, doing bullshit and then making you feel like shit? I'm just asking. What if that is what is going on? Because that is what's going on. I'm using it as a question, but I want you to kind of explore that because it sounds crazy when I'm saying it. That is what she hooked into. That is what she found out. The ritualized sexual abuse of minors in order to tap into energy portals within the soul body or spirit body and then hook into that energy. Now, when that happens, the person, and we'll just use somebody like Justin Bieber, the person who's had that happen, he's given what he wants, which is over here. We know Bieber was famous as a teenager and all of that. How do you think he got that way? Because they harnessed his energy and presented him while him, the self, is broken. He is broken and a shell of himself because he has lost his sense of self. They stole that. That is what they wear.
Remember, I said this is way before we knew anything about the Cassie, way before the Cassie thing. So for the fact that she on here talking about what happened to Justin Bieber, now there are lots and lots of YouTube videos of people talking about what happened to Justin Bieber. So it's not as if because she's saying it, it can't be, you know, it's something she predicted. But I'm just saying she really closely aligned it to what I had. I knew nothing about Sloan Bella and none of this stuff that she's talking about. But I remember thinking whenever he was probably around 19, I feel like, I remember them reporting that he was like peeing in like buckets and restaurants, all kinds of weird stuff. And I thought to myself, you know, on one hand, it's like people do stupid stuff when they're teenagers or when they're young adults. They do. I don't give people passes because they do dumb shit when they're teenagers or when they're in college. I don't give people passes for that, but I just know that it happens is my point. Because as a 19-year-old, 20-year-old, you still know what the hell you're doing. It's not like you're unaware unless you have a learning disability or something like that. But what I'm saying is what I picked up on mostly was that the young man that was presented to us way before then, full from head to toe with charisma, full of it. I mean, he just was dripping in swag. He was like that guy. He was just like right on it. Like he was very charismatic. He could, I was just kind of like, what happened? And I knew nothing about none of this stuff because I didn't have a YouTube channel. I wasn't going around looking to find out stuff about people. I knew nothing about none of this, right? So for me to see that, however many years ago that was for him, I was just kind of like, that's unfortunate, you know. But I did think, oh, he's just, you know, that's what kids do. They got a whole lot of money and probably saying to themselves, nobody can tell me what to do or anything like that. But now when you look at Justin, he has no light in his eyes. That spirit that she's talking about, I believe it 100%. And it doesn't have to be what she's saying it is. I'm just saying what I witnessed on my own. And I don't know Justin. I wasn't there. So I don't know what happened to Justin, but I can just tell you this, his whole entire spirit is broken. I can see it. Anybody, a blind man can see it. And people will say, oh, it's because he used drugs and he used this, that, and the third. And he probably did use drugs. I'm certain of it, 100%. The reason I'm 100% certain of it is because a lot of people use drugs and alcohol to cope with their trauma. We all have a trauma center. Don't think your trauma is better than someone else's. Don't compare your trauma. Don't tell people that they need to move on and they need to get over it. It's trauma and it's their trauma, and you can't tell people what the hell to do with their trauma. And let's be clear, trauma is lifelong. Okay. How do I know that? It's because we all get triggered. Why do I know that? Because when people get triggered, they have a response, an emotional one typically. They're having an emotional response because of trauma. Whether it's I watched The Good Wife because my husband was cheating on me 10 years ago, and I watched The Good Wife, and then now I'm watching this man cheat on his husband and I get triggered. You see what I'm saying? Or you watch, I'll use myself for example, you know, you're watching a movie where a lady loses her mom to cancer. Well, if I obviously lost mine to cancer, so you lose your parents to cancer, that's going to trigger you. It's traumatic. If you're getting sexually battered, sexually assaulted, whatever it is, as a child, as an adult, whatever it is, it's traumatic. And sometimes people don't know how to cope with that. A lot of times people don't know how to cope with it. People go a lot of times directly from the from the trigger to the response, which could be anger, crying, whatever it is, right? But it's their coping mechanism. And so I'm saying that to say, you know, I believe wholeheartedly Justin Bieber, all of the things that Sloan Bell is talking about happening to him, I believe wholeheartedly all of those things happen to him and then some. Because you got people like L.A. Reid running around on the internet or wherever TV show he was on talking about, Usher brought Justin Bieber to me and he was it was like a gift. Pay attention to people's word choice. This is a young boy. How is he a gift to you, sir? He was so beautiful. This is what this grown-ass man is saying about the child. That's so bizarre. But it's not bizarre to someone like me because I know exactly what, like I said, I know exactly how these animals think and how they act. I've been to that part of the zoo before, and they're going to all deny it and swear they didn't do it and they wasn't there and whatever else, right? It's going to happen. It's happening already. Diddy's the first. But you have people, so that's why I believe it. I think that people figure out best they can how to cope with their trauma. And I think if you have that type of sexual trauma, think about it. Think about how many people deal with sexual trauma and no one knows who they are. And then add to that, you're a superstar. And you've been presented to the world as such. And you got millions upon millions upon millions of young teenager girls and boys, I'm sure, who absolutely love you, want to be like you, want to imitate you. And you have this industry who is savagely abusing you. Savagely abusing you. And you have to get up on that stage and act like nothing's happening. I'm just saying, let's have a real conversation. Let's have an honest conversation. I can't imagine having to do that. Having to cope with it quietly is one thing. Having to cope with it in front of the world and say nothing, act like your life is great. You don't have to have, you know, all of the things and the money and all that stuff that Justin Bieber has obtained. But I feel wholeheartedly with 1,000% of certainty, if you ask Justin Bieber right now, would he give it back? I believe he would say yes. Take all the money, take all the fame, take all the notoriety, take all the whatever it is that I have. Let me go back to being Justin Bieber, who was 12 years old and just an aspiring, just somebody making YouTube videos with my guitar on the internet. And he's one of, I'm sure, thousands, millions. But let's get back to what she has to say, and then we're going to go ahead and close out.
So it's like they're wearing his clothes, but look at it in terms of energy. This is what Kim found out. She found out exactly what was happening. She'd been blocked from that. She'd seen a lot. She'd seen some kinky shit. She'd seen some weird shit. She was asked to participate in things that these narcissistic, psychopathic type people ask their partners to participate in. Okay. Yes, I said the word that I wasn't going to say yesterday, but that's exactly what happened. She came across the ritualizing sexual abuse, and that's where she drew the line. That is not okay. Now, as much as they say, let me word it this way too. We hear a lot of stuff online about universal law and they have to let us know. No, they don't. Don't buy into that shit. No one has to let anybody know anything. Do you think the criminal calls you up and goes, hey, bitch, I'm going to rob your house later tonight? I don't think so. I think that they rob your house through opportunity. They have taught us to think incorrectly about what's going on. Most of us don't believe there's anything else outside of our physical body. Kim knew there was. She knew that her baby daddy was strong, powerful. But when she found out how he got that power for real, it scared her. She is protected. She is fine. Like she's not stuck anywhere where there's a problem with her. She saw. So I actually feel that the passing of Kim Porter opened up the knowledge of what this man and there are others. Big, huge dinner party, and very, very ornate, and very, very, it reminds me of a legal boardroom table with all, like, you know, you walk into a expensive law office and there's like huge ass table and you're like, well, it's only me and him and then you, right? You're like, why am I here? It was this huge table like this, very ornately decorated, crimson coloring. The chairs are huge and high behind you. And when she saw what she saw, I feel like, I'm going to say this, I feel like she slipped through a dimension. I'm talking when she's alive. I feel like that's why she was giving information to the, quote, authorities. Forget the book. It's not just about the book. It's about that, what I'm talking about. And I feel like the veil was let down in front of her and she actually walked through like a dimension, and what she saw flipped her out because she became very frightened. I got that very, very strong, very mistrusting. She feels comfortable now. She's been on the other side long enough where she knows she's protected, and there are many. This is ritualized sexual abuse used in order to invoke power and energy and hook, and I use the word spores, that's like just the word I use. Just think of a dandelion and those spores blowing everywhere. They do that inside your body through behind. As I was saying before the video got cut off, they do that from behind you in the physical sense because it's an easy pathway to the chakra system, and through the crown chakra, they can harness your energy. That's why, do you see this? This is happening now. Do you see it? The camera cut off and now it's going back and forth. Again, here we go. They can harness your energy. When they harness your energy, they own your energy. Think of a horse and wagon. If the horse has the bit in the mouth, you have the reins. Do you see that? Do you see that's happening? We're doing this again. Here we go. We're doing it again. The horse is led by the person who has the reins. The person who takes the action to destroy the self-esteem of the underaged pure child whose family has said, here you go, we want this for him, which means they want it for themselves. When that family steps in and hands over that youthful person, they break the spirit of that person. And once they've broken the spirit through their actions, they control the energy of that person. Because by breaking them, it's not like we describe it as like people who don't have self-esteem, people who they don't feel good about themselves. They're very moldable and manipulated. But what it actually is it's tearing away of the soul body, which harnesses 99% of our energy, because the physical is just what we're here to walk around in. It's like the car. The person driving the car either has the skill or doesn't. So they are breaking the physical from the soul body and tethering the line that connects the two and hijacking it energetically. That's what she found out. And she was asked to report on it. Obviously, we're on Earth, planet of logics and logistics. So they asked her for actual information. And there are other people repeating information about his behaviors because there's certain things he does that are illegal on this planet, in this world right now, that don't include the metaphysical, that are involved in the rituals. And that is what is being gone on behind the scenes. And that is the intelligence that's being gathered. This I got really strong. Now, when we're talking about the harnessing of energy, it is to break down the psyche of the human being so that the human being, the person, the child, doesn't see their power.
Just saying. So I'm not gonna play Sloan Bella's whole video. Y'all can go watch Kim Porter part 2, her ritualistic and soul breaking that she talks about. But she has 3 videos on Kim Porter. And the reason that I put this out there is because this video is about people, victims who have come forward recently, specifically this one young lady who keeps saying that she was a party favor and things like that. And she was saying all these things. She was saying satanic rituals and stuff like that. That's what she's saying currently, right? Sloan Bella was saying this in part 2 of her Kim Porter ritual, whatever video, where she was talking about Kim Porter and what happened to Kim Porter. And she said she was channeling her. This came way before Cassie did her video. And that was a year ago. Over a year ago that Cassie did her video. I'm sorry. Cassie dropped her lawsuit. So that was over a year ago at this point. But Sloan Bella is telling us about this. What she's saying Kim Porter witnessed, and that shook her to her core, which is why Kim Porter started allegedly cooperating with the authorities, what Sloan Bella said, who I now believe are like the FBI or whomever, the Homeland Security. That's who I think that she's talking about. But she was talking about all of this prior to Cassie's lawsuit. Where'd she get that information from? So I know some people are like, oh, I don't believe in psychics. And you don't have to. But you have to believe if you're a soul, there has to be other souls that you're walking around talking to one. Because once your soul is gone, there's nothing there. You wither away. So there has to be something more. At least that's what I believe. But I give her a little bit of credibility only because she ain't been wrong about Diddy yet. And the stuff she was talking about with Diddy, she started talking about at least, I feel like 10 months or so prior to Cassie's lawsuit. She did a video on Jay-Z and Beyonce before, what's her name? Jaguar Wright went on Piers Morgan, child. She said Jay-Z and Beyonce. She said, what did she say? She said Jay-Z. She said, what did she say? She said it's going to come to a screeching halt. Screeching halt. That's what she said. I was like, sure. I'm like, and then she said somewhere in that video she said something like, Jay-Z is going to go down and then they're going to take Beyonce down behind him. And I was like, I don't know if they can take down Queen B. I just feel like that's going to be a hard task. But listen, I don't know, but I can say this. Jay-Z and Beyonce are very connected or have been very connected to P. Diddy all these years. And that's not to say they're guilty of anything that he did or didn't do, but I'm like, how do you be around someone for 30 years? You don't see anything? Even Dame Dash was like, yo. So I'm like, how is that? And that's fine if you didn't. Sometimes you don't. You might not witness those things because people want to keep it private, or they understand you're not that type of person that they could probably be honest about it with. But the thing that makes me wonder is the things that's so curious to me is it's less about Beyonce and Jay-Z being silent right now, but it's more about how Beyonce really doesn't do any interviews. I haven't seen that lady do an interview in I don't even know how many years. And she could control everything she does if she wants to, right? She could do whatever video. She is at that level where she could be like, you better not ask me this, that, and the third. So it's bizarre to me that she doesn't do any type of video whatsoever. Even like to talk about her music, really. She doesn't, we live in a social media age where you can have direct contact with your followers, and she just doesn't do it anymore. And that to me is what's bizarre. I'm not saying she's participating in anything. All I'm saying is if something don't add up, there's a lie somewhere. Luca says, oh, I saw that. What did you see, Luca? The Piers Morgan. Yeah. That I was like, ooh. And you know what? I feel like Jaguar Wright set up Diddy. I mean, she set up not Diddy, she set up Jay-Z for the okie doke. Now, I don't know what Jaguar Wright has against Jay-Z, but she has a bone to fucking pick with his ass. Like she is not letting up on him. She is like, if Diddy's going down, Jay is going down. Period, point blank. I don't know what he did to her, but whatever he did to her, she has a bone to pick and she is not letting go. That being said, I think she set up Jay-Z and he fell for it. This is what I think. when she said whatever she said about Jay-Z and Beyonce on that national platform, who she knew it was going to ring like a fucking bell around the world, she knew it was going to go everywhere. But the thing is, you got to pay attention to people's word choice, and I pay attention. And when she said Jay-Z has to speak up. Well, one, she knew she was daring him. Don't say anything. She knew that there was going to be a lawsuit. She knew that there was going to be somebody saying, nope, we didn't do that. And that's the setup. Think about what police officers do when they think that they have a suspect that maybe possibly did the murder, did the unaliving, did whatever the crime is. What police officers will do, and I'm gonna say detectives, what they'll do is they're gonna tell you, hey, just come down to the station, or even if you're standing outside, you having that little conversation that your lawyers tell you, you had the right to remain silent, use your Miranda rights. That's what they tell you. But the detectives, the setup is this. Let that person tell you their story, whatever that story might be. Let them tell you their story. Because once they tell you their story, the police officer has locked you into a time frame, a timeline, I'm sorry. And what you said you did, what you didn't do, what you were wearing, what you ate, whatever it is, they are locking you into that. So now what happened is, in my opinion, Jaguar Wright sat on Piers Morgan's show and she dared Jay-Z and Beyonce to say something. She dared them to respond. And what did they do? They took the bait. They responded. Here comes Piers Morgan with his apology. Here comes TMZ with their Beyonce and Jay-Z's, what is it called? Attorney. Who says the attorney to TMZ? Y'all ever heard of that? I ain't never heard of that. Not with those type of crimes that you alleging I did. Alleging I put people on planes and who are unconscious. You don't send that to JMZ. I mean to JMZ. Child, that might be a thing. You don't send your attorney over there to TMZ. You send them to CNN. You send them to C-SPAN. You send them somewhere where people do reputable news. Whatever reputable, meaning fact checking. That's what I mean by reputable news, not just somebody commentating. Because that's exactly what TMZ is going to do. They can be bought. Journalists who have integrity, which they're supposed to, usually not supposed to be able to be bought. So they're going to just give the facts. That's what's supposed to happen. But you send them to TMZ because you want to. It's like I said, it's all a joke. But anyways, that's the reason that I think Jaguar Wright did that. And that's why I say it's a setup. She set them up and they walked right into it. Now, they didn't say, we didn't do this. And they're never going to get on TV, I don't think, and say that. But when you sent your attorney out to say, Jay-Z and Beyonce said that this is demonstrably false, this is the lie from the pit of hell, your attorney is speaking for you. And now you said on the record via your attorney that you don't have nothing to do with nothing Jaguar Wright said. So if you do happen to have something to do with any of the things that Jaguar Wright said, if you own one of them tapes, if you own an email, a text, whatever it is, and if they find it, you are cooked. Because you already said in that other video via your attorney, it's demonstrably false, what she said. Why would you say something demonstrably false if there's an opportunity or a chance that something maybe happened that one time? And here's the thing, according to the Southern District of New York, or the people who went to those white parties, I said the Southern District of New York because they're charging him with trafficking. But according to the people that went to those parties and those lawsuits, they said that they were drugged via the drink or via whatever, however they were drugged. So your defense would be, if you're Jay-Z and Beyonce, my assumption is, whenever that happened, I was drugged. I don't remember none of that. And let's just say that's true. I can't, you remember I was talking about earlier about from when you could be like, something happened. I don't have all the details, but I remember this and I remember that. And it was kind of look, fuzzy. But I highly doubt that something happened to you at a party, like you got drugged and you have no knowledge of it of any part of it. Not saying that you have the totality of all of it, but you at some point should remember you came there, right? You at least remember that I did go here. I had on these clothes. I at some point drank or ate something, and I can't remember anything after that. Even if that's your statement, that's your truth, that's what you remember. Why do you go back to a party that you've been to before where you can't remember anything after a certain point? That's one part of it. Then the other part is, if you've been hearing these whispers all these years about Diddy and all the shenanigans that he's done, isn't that your confirmation? They've been saying all these years, this man is the devil. He's been doing da, 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 da. That's my confirmation. Me and my wife not going back to those parties. Nobody I rock with going, period. But that doesn't happen, right? You continue to grow with this man, continue to build with this man, continue to do deals, whatever it is that Jay-Z and Beyonce and all of them were doing with Diddy, whatever that was, that continued. So only one or two things could be true. Either A, you at some point found out and you decided to continue, or B, you knew all along. And I'm going to go with B. I'm going to go with A and B. I'm going to go with at some point you found out and you went along with it. Or B, I do believe on some level you already knew. Somebody, meaning maybe you didn't witness it firsthand, but someone said something about it. I find it hard to believe that you were at the top with the top people and nobody says it. Not one whisper. You know who I want to hear from? Solange. Solange, girl, come to the front. Tell me what you know. Luca Vega says, what do you think about Young Miami? Child, Young Miami, I think it's very possible that Young Miami is both a witness and a victim. I think it's very possible that she's both a witness and a victim, because she came on that platform that she went on as Carisha or Young Miami or whoever she is these days, and said, that she had been previously a victim of assault with like a partner or intimate partner or whatever, intimate violence with a partner. So for others, for everybody else, they call it domestic violence, but I call it assault because I'm calling things what they are. That's what we do on Chanel's Reality. So it's possible, if that's true, if she's saying that these things happen to her, or even if she, had some sort of trauma as a child, which we all do, but at some point, some of the people in the lawsuit were saying, in certain lawsuits were saying that, I think her cousin, I think Lil Rod said in his lawsuit, I'm paraphrasing, but I could be wrong about this. I wasn't there, so I don't know. But I think in his lawsuit, he said that Carisha, Young Miami's cousin, tried to sexually assault him in a restroom, and she did some other stuff to him. I'll say this. If Diddy could do it and pretend to the whole world, meaning the people that just didn't know people like me, it's very possible and highly likely that Carisha knew and was a part of it. It's likely. I can't say that it's true because I honestly never heard of Young Miami until this whole thing. I never heard of her, never heard a song, I never heard of her. But the more you pull at the string, the more things unravel and more people that, come forward. But I think it's interesting that she went on the Revolt TV channel and said, basically that wasn't her life that she lived. And that's possible too, because Gene Deal, when he spoke of Jennifer Lopez, he was like, Ms. Lopez, this, that. And I'm saying initially when I heard some of the tapes that he did or interviews that he did, he was like, Ms. Lopez, he treated her this way and that way and whatever. But, and when I say he, I'm talking about Diddy, treated Jennifer Lopez a certain way. Like, apparently from what I gathered from what Gene Deal was saying about J-Lo or Jennifer Lopez at the beginning, He was saying that he never witnessed Jennifer Lopez get treated the way Kim Porter was treated. Why that is, I don't know, but my assumption is because she was already in that business and already had her star, meaning her star was on the rise. She had already done Selena in a few movies, and had already been kind of like had her foot. I think she had been on a what's the name of that TV show we watched as young teenagers? What was it? In Living Color. She, as a dancer, so she had already put her imprints around in Hollywood, and I think he thought this is a good look. She's sexy. She's Puerto Rican, and whatever. I think Diddy was like, I'm not gonna do that because I want this image. I think he was chasing what he probably wanted, what the current day Beyonce and Jay-Z is. I think that's what he was chasing with Jennifer Lopez. And so maybe that's possibly why he didn't treat her that way for whatever the period of time was. But I think Jennifer Lopez is not innocent. She can't possibly be. You were in a whole ass club with your boyfriend at the time, P. Diddy, who allegedly shot a lady in the face, and you allegedly carried a gun and all this kind of stuff. At the end of the day, you were in that club with that man, and you said that you didn't do anything. You didn't say one word about Sean that I heard. You let that young man go spend almost 10 years in prison for some shit your boyfriend did. He did it. The lady that got shot in the face said he did it. Are you kidding me right now? How do you not speak up? So as much as I rooted for Jennifer Lopez and wanted to see her win, and because people love to just dog you out or whatever if you're winning, especially if you're a woman, I call bullshit on that. I do. I have to, because you're still silent. You've still propelled yourself into whatever platform you're on now, and you're winning financially and influentially and all that kind of stuff. You are. But how do you know that your boyfriend shot a lady in the face in the club and act like he didn't do anything? Now, let me be clear. If you witness something like that, that's obviously traumatic. Is it possible that he could have been doing, all kinds of things to her? Absolutely. And she could have been scared. And at the end of the day, if you can't protect yourself, you certainly can't protect Shine, the guy that went away for this, situation. That didn't shoot anybody, allegedly. I don't know. I wasn't there. Let's see. Lucas says people tell things even when they think they aren't saying anything incriminating. And that's why they tell you. You have the right to remain silent. I always tell people, I'm like, look, use your Miranda rights. Even at your job, shut up. Stop saying shit. They're going to use it against you. They might not be able to use it against you now because they want to keep you and you're new and whatever, but they're going to use it against you. Use your Miranda rights and apply that to everything you're doing online on their computer. I'm just saying, because they are going to go get that information. Maybe an accessory too. You talking about Jennifer Lopez? Possibly. Oh no, you must be talking about Carisha, the young Miami lady. Yeah, it's kind of crazy. Revolt kept her show. So is she still on Revolt? Yeah, power couple. I agree. Oops, she got reconstructive surgery. Oh, it's good. Listen, I usually I try my best not to talk about people's personal appearance because it's very personal. You're born. You don't get to choose what you look like when you're born, right? You don't get to choose your parents. And, some people, they parents, they gave them great genes and they're beautiful according to our beauty standards. They got the beautiful thick hair or the slim waist and whatever. Everybody doesn't have that, right? So I support, if you want to go on that table or get something nipped and tucked, do whatever the hell makes you happy and makes you feel good about yourself. Don't do it to make other people feel good. But that being said, I feel like whatever Kim Kardashian has allegedly put in her booty, somebody put something in her booty. I know the first 2 years of the Kardashian, she was like, no, I don't have a butt implant. Yeah, girl, you don't have a butt implant. I'm the same age as Kim Kardashian. Okay. So I was believing it because, yeah, you don't have a butt implant, but you got butt injections. Stop it. Knock it off, sis. But because I love the Keeping Up with the Kardashians. I was riding with them from day one. I was like, this family is crazy as hell, and I'm into it. I was into it because they weren't fighting each other like physically. There wasn't any violence. It just was a whole hot ass mess, but in a good way. You know, it was just kind of like everybody's different. You got the girl that people swear she ugly and she's fat and she's really not. Everybody's different. Kim is the, you know, what do they call her? The pretty one, or the one that's like got the stick up her ass. Courtney's a bitch. Let's be clear. If you've never watched it, that's her role, because Courtney's a bitch. But anyway, you have all of these characters, and it's just was funny to me, and so I wanted to believe it. But listen, if I'm gonna look at Kim Kardashian body at this point, she can't take away her ass anymore. So to me, it's just getting bigger and bigger. So all I'm saying is, I said all that to say this. Please stop with the butt injections, people. I'm just saying. I'm not a professional. I'm not a doctor. I don't know. I don't have no doctorate. I don't know none of that. I'm not giving people public. I'm not giving you advice about your health. Go talk to your doctor. But I'm saying this. Whatever Kim has got done and some of the others, her abdomen and her stomach and her legs don't match her ass anymore. It seems to keep continuously growing. And I'm not saying that to be funny. I'm saying that to be real. So I'm saying be careful with that. Listen, if Kim Kardashian got all the money in the world and access, okay, and privilege and everything else, can't seem to make her ass stop growing. And I promise you, she does not want it to grow any bigger. She wants it to be smaller. She does. She doesn't want it to be big like that no more. I promise you she doesn't. If she can't stop it, you certainly ain't gonna probably have a better outcome than her, is all I'm saying. So just take care of yourself. Let me see. I'm gonna read these last few, and then I'm gonna get off of here. Right. She had reconstructive surgery. That's correct. So Luca Vega says the woman was shot. She has reconstructive surgery. She does. Luca Vega says, "Oh gosh, Cardi B's really struggled with whatever I agree." And you know the problem with Cardi B, and I'm not saying she's problematic in this way. She has a whole bunch of problems, but I feel bad for her in the sense of she's looking for acceptance from a population of people who are built to build you up and break you down and tear you down. And the public is very finicky. And the public could hate you one day and then lift you up tomorrow. But we are very forgiving, and we love to see a comeback story. So for me, I'm just like, girl, you cannot keep living and dying on whether or not people accept you. And I know as a social worker and a therapist that's a part, even if I wasn't a social worker or a therapist, that is a part of the natural human emotion. Rejection is one of the hardest things for people to like deal with. It's difficult. Whether you reject it in high school, middle school, elementary school, from the job that you wanted, whatever it is, however you're rejected, it's one of the worst human emotions. It's hard because you want to be like, you want to act like it didn't hurt you, right? Because you don't want to be crying all the time and be sad about it. But it's hurtful, and people should talk about what hurts them. They should, but we don't in our society. We're told to shut up and get over it and move on. And to me, all of those things re-traumatize you personally. But I think Cardi B, girl. So that's my compassion for Cardi B. But Cardi B did say, got a bag and fix my teeth. So she's understood the assignment, okay? That being said, the other part of Cardi that I don't accept and I completely reject is the part of her who has been violent. The stuff that she's done to other people and not really apologized about it. That part bothers my soul because I don't believe in violence. I believe if someone is trying to hurt you or your family or something like that, and there's imminent danger or they threaten you and your family, it is what it is. You started it and it's going to be what it's going to be. But I'm talking about in the moment type scenario. I'm not going to go to nobody's house and I'm not doing none of that. You don't need to be fighting somebody, because let's be clear, all of us that have had a physical fight in life, and I have, so now I done beat you up, because I never lost one, but so now I done beat you up, or now we fought about whatever. How do I feel different? I don't. I haven't resolved anything, but we fought about it. And I'm talking about, for me as a child, that's what I did. You know, I think my last fight was like 5th, 6th grade, something like that. But you a whole grown ass woman, Cardi. what you doing? But she ain't the only one. She probably the least of the ones that really are out here doing it. But I feel bad for her because I think she bought those wolf tickets that Hollywood sells you about, even before she was in Hollywood. Cardi said this, I feel like somewhere she was like, she was in the white club and they told her to get boobs. Because that's what they liked in the white club, right? They liked the boobs. And then she said she went to the I guess the black club. And then they was like the people in the black club felt like they want the big ass. And so she went and did all of this stuff to get people's attention and acceptance. Again, I'm not knocking her, do whatever the hell you want to do, but I'm saying you're never going to feel fulfilled if you're doing it for someone else, for their acceptance. Now, there's certain, obviously there's caveats to that, meaning if you have a big something growing on abnormal growth on your forehead, and you're going to go get it for that so that you don't have to go out in public and people are asking you what that is on your face and all that, that's different. You're doing it for yourself, but you're doing it also because you see all this constant attention that is causing it, and that's hurtful. I'm not talking about that. Those things are very different. People need to be able to go out into the world and not be judged within an inch of their life because of something that's way beyond their control. But we don't live in a society like that. People are going to judge you within an inch of your life. So I say, do whatever you want to do to your body, but just make sure it's about you wanting to do it, because people are always going to pick it apart. Even if you could be literally beat to the gods, okay? Beautiful from top to bottom, and someone's still going to find a problem with you, no matter who you are. You could be born beautiful. They're still going to find a problem with you. So I say that to say this. Cardi's always going to have a hard time until she figures out she needs to worry about Cardi and not about all the outside noise and what they think and what they want from her. I think she probably regrets it at this point. I could be wrong about that. To meet you. Thanks for chatting. Absolutely. Thank you, Luca. I hope y'all hit that subscribe button and the like button. I am out of here. Thank you so much for participating and tuning in for another episode of Chanel's Reality. I'm Chanel, and this is my reality. Bye, guys. Have a good one. Hit the like button.